And how's Dunraven Brewery feeling?
Yeah, you can take it like this.
How's the weather? And sorry, Mike, you just broke
Sorry,
up.
the Dunraven Brewery field. How was that?
No, it's actually a pretty good pitch. I think better than I expected, and the sun is shining at the moment, but it's obviously a couple of clouds that come by and a little bit of rain every now and then. But the weather's pretty good. Looking forward to it.
Okay, nice. Dobo, on the team selection, you got quite a few players that didn't finish last season that were starting. Guys like DAMIAN, Keke, Steve Satole, and obviously debut is making his debut. How much of a boost is that?
Yeah, I think the real was shown last week in Ospreys when, obviously I was watching it through, got fingers across my eyes, worrying about injuries, but to have Ruan back, Ruan's also on that list. To have those guys back is a big boost for us. Keke was just going so well last season, so no, it's a great. This is a. Yeah, I think somebody said to me in the week, if you have a loose trio of the way Marcel Tunison's playing now, Keke and Dave Ewers, and you've still got arguably your top ones out. Well, I know BJ came in last minute, but BJ, Evan and Brunners, it's really good. I just feel like it was a really good exercise in Nelspruit with those guys that hadn't played. Probably maybe a trot short, in terms of, but they just weren't ready earlier. But it's great to have them back.
Cool. And maybe just a word on Dan. I mean, it's just Dan, congratulations. First game as captain of the Stormers, but people maybe don't realize what sort of leader he is in the team and how long he's actually been a leadership figure in the team.
Yeah, he has been for a long time. He's a leader in his sort of game understanding, composure, and honesty. But different to the leaders that we've had as a coaching group over the years with guys like whether it was Sia when he was here, or Chris Van Zyl, or Kitsi, or Salman Maratri, big sort of upfront forwards. So maybe not have the game awareness or time or presence of Dan, of mind of Dan. So I'm thrilled he was captain. I told Norman Laker last week that I made it up. I just said Dan had a headache on Friday after the Pumas game, and have a good weekend. And Norman replied, "God's onmoontlik." Because if Dan du Plessis doesn't play, so I think we're on a very exciting journey. It's a slightly new trajectory for us. It's probably been under our noses for longer, and probably should have happened earlier. But we're really excited about what Dan brings. The team, really, really, really excited. It's a reflection on Dan and his work ethic and his value to this team as well.
Nice one. Just lastly from me, Dan, if you can talk about what it means for you to captain the side and how excited you are about the team that you're leading. It's obviously a very strong team.
Yeah, Mike. Obviously, I think for me, it's quite easy to slot into this role. It's not much of a different role than that I've been doing in the past. Obviously, I'll have to be making more decisions on the field, and my communication with the ref needs to be quite good. But I think that will come quite naturally. And obviously it's like Dobby says, I don't think I even realize how big of a milestone or achievement it is to actually lead out the Stormers. I think it's a massive privilege to do so, and there's very few people that get the opportunity to do so.
Cool, nice one. All right, we see Nathan with his hand up first for a change. Yes, Nathan.
Good day, Dobbo and Dan first, congratulations with being a captain. Dobbo, I'll start with you first. Dobbo, just to confirm, is Dan captain for the entire RC season or just for the tour?
Look, I think he's going to captain us for a long time. I mean, it's a miserable sort of question in that we haven't had a chat with Salman or Kitsi yet because they haven't been around. I think we still have to have that conversation. But I do see a very long-term future for Dan. But we haven't. So what I mean by miserable, Nathan, we haven't made an announcement yet that Dan's the whole season. I think we have to respect the fact that Salman and Kitsi, Salman captained South Africa last week. So we got to have conversations around that. But I do see Dan as playing a big captaincy role on a long-term basis, definitely.
Sure, when you were looking at possible candidates of being captain, obviously excluding the guys who are playing for an international scene now, what made you decide on Dan Toop as the captain?
Yeah, like I said, I suspect we should have looked at earlier, just given his qualities. I suppose the first thing is, his ability as a player. One of the most underrated centers in the whole of the URC. I've got no question about that. But second, no, but most importantly from our side is he's really standards driven on training and on the field. He really knows the plan, sticks to the plan, and quite unemotional with that stuff. Stuff that we've probably lacked a little bit not leadership wise, but just having that sort of that game analysis and that stuff. And yeah, he's got the complete respect of the whole team. Yeah, a lot of respect for the whole team, and certainly the coaches. You know, the coaches in particular, Davy and Norman, are super excited by this.
Dan, your family has got quite a history within Western Province Stormers rugby. What does it mean for yourself and family to be given the reins as captain of the side? I mean, what did Uncle Michal and your cousin say when they found out?
No, obviously my dad's really proud, and obviously it's a proud family history, especially at Western Province and the Stormers. But yeah, no, he's obviously just really proud of me and the rest of the family as well.
Dobbo, onto the person. I'll start with notable inclusion of Gaza coming from a finger injury. He's probably ready to go, and it's probably comforting to have a guy like of his caliber back for the side in time for the URC.
Yeah, look, I think he's at the time of his injury, we did agree Nathan is one of the best fullbacks in the world game.
Yeah.
So having him back for now, he's been training well for a while. You know, he didn't play in Ospreys. So it's a bit raw. You know, the last game was Connacht in the 8th of May or whenever it was. So it's a long time out, but he has trained for us properly for a long time. So it's a big boost for us, especially, you know, Dan's right. The surface is quite nice, but it's what is the analogy, Norman? Norman had actually had a good analogy for the field. I can't remember which stadium we compared it to. But it's, you know, it's a windswept, it's dark, it's gonna be dark and windswept. So to have a guy of his ability at the back is very useful.
I'm going to give you one.
Sorry, Outeniqua Park. Outeniqua Park was Norman's analogy.
Sure, I'm just going one more question for now. This question is a bit of a headache, Dobbo. You have Yuri at 10 and Gaz at 15 with JL on the bench. No place of Boogie. What plan do you have for Warwick? Because soon you'll have a situation where Manu returns, Sasha back from injury, then Gaz is there as well, and Yuri to consider.
Yeah, look, the plan this week, you know, if we get a 15 injury tomorrow, then Yuri will go to the back where he's covered for us before, and probably suits the game. But that question, I'd be much wealthier if I had a bit of money every time that question's asked. And I mean that respectfully. The solution, Davy had the idea, Nath, of just throwing 7 jerseys in the change room, and whoever picks them up, you know, it's the position they play. It's a nice position to be in. But yeah, we've got a bit of flexibility. Look, unfortunately, we won't get them all at the same time. They won't be fitted all at the same time. I mean, I think Sasha's going to be out for a little while. Warwick's only available probably off the bench next week. So we'll just go week by week in matching it. But I mean, if you're, you know, at full strength, that is going to be quite a skilled backline. You know, that's how we accommodate it. I think what Damien, he'll wear whatever number. If he'll have to win, he'll wear 11 if he has to. So we'll get into trouble for that, but that's who he is.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
That's what Nathan. Kotso is next. Yes, Kotso.
Afternoon, Dabo. Just a quick one from me. You guys lost home and away to Ospreys last season. What makes them a difficult proposition, and do you have any plans to overcome whatever banana skill potentially that they'll throw at you?
I think we lost home and away to them last season. The points taken in the ignominy of the home defeat. The URC 1 we won at home reasonably. We won at home. URC 2 we drew 16-all. Yeah, in Swansea. URC 3 we lost at home. Which look, I'm not carping because the question is valid. It was a really, you know, probably our poorest result of the whole. You know, up there with our Lions defeating URC 1 in terms of disappointing results. The one we had in April or with May. I'll get it wrong. So yeah, they're known for their fight. I think you know, they've sort of, with all the challenges in Wales, they fought their way into the top 8. They fought their way a bit deeper into the Challenge Cup last season. Our plans, they don't divulge too much, but we know it's not going to be maybe the state of flow game that we might get in a South African conditions, and that by any stretch. You know, a lot of rain here at the moment, and it's open field, so we've got to be prepared to win ugly, and that'll mean. But I mean, I don't think, you know, we might not get the flow that we want in attack, but we certainly got it's a huge pack of forwards. We've got the ability to be fairly physical, and we've got the ability to move them around. Yeah, we have a lot of respect for what they're doing in a tough environment. But that defeat really hurt to us in the one in DHL Stadium, hurt a lot. So certainly the most since December 2021. So that'll be a driving factor. Now, look, we've got a few. We looked at their game last week, and they're friendly against Exeter, and we've got 1 or 2 plans.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
So Ashfaq Mohammed is next.
Thank you, Michael de Vries. I double out Dan. I sort of agree with Dan there because he couldn't stop smiling double when you were talking about your wealth or how rich you could have been. Because we probably both agree you don't need extra help, but you've got a lot of wealth in that backline there, in terms of talent and ability. And we know the Stormers' DNA is to attack. But you spoke about winning ugly. Do you feel confident that they can sort of rein themselves in a bit, because you're going to have to sort of maybe play more kicking game and territory and go against their natural instincts?
Yeah, I think we've worked a lot. Darby Snyman's come up with some really nice stuff on attack this season, give us more options. We felt we didn't really get much flow last season for lots of reasons. One of which is the poor start we had on the tour, which put us under pressure for the rest of the season. So we're desperate to avoid that tomorrow. But you're right, Ashfaq, it's going to have to be a bit more pragmatic tomorrow. But I mean, if you look at a pack, I say Ruben van Heerden and JD Schickling are flanks. I think Dave Ewers, these Keke Marabi's are big people. So we've got a couple of nines who can understand how to control the territory. Yuri is is a different type of 10 to Mani, but probably suits those conditions. So yeah, we're going to have to be a little bit more pragmatic, because the most important thing for us tomorrow is not to like Cape Town with our branded rugby. It's to start this tour with a win. So it probably would be more pragmatic than we would expect.
And Dan, just in terms of that, now obviously the tour we all know was such a disappointment last year, but you actually came close in almost all of the games and could have been 4 out of 4, in fact. What do you think needs to be the difference this time around to just get over the line, even if it's like a 1 point, like the Box World Cup playoffs, just 1 point?
Yeah, I think the key is obviously we have to get a good start. That's why this weekend is so crucial, to get a good start against the Ospreys, to start off tour on the right note. As you said, last season was obviously things didn't go the way we wanted it to go. But I think we've got everything in our artillery to go 3 out of 3 on this tour. Obviously, there's a couple of guys at home and big names in Evan, Dion Ferry, and Sasha as well. But I think the guys over here is more than enough we believe in them, and we know that they can take us through a whole season.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, Ashfaq.
Nice one, guys. Kaniso Chwaku is next. Kaniso.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope all is well. Double quick one on Sasha in particular. Are you able to just brief us on the extent of the injury, what the op was about, and just how you felt when the news broke of his injury?
Firstly, it's as far as I know, there's some damage to the same knee he had an operation on last year when he was with under 21. So that's that's a concern. If you get the same one twice in a year? So the official diagnosis is 8 weeks. I'm sitting here, I promise you, I just can't remember if it's a meniscal tear or PCL. It's not an ACL or a big one, but it's the same injury to the same knee within a year. So theoretically, if there was a fresh knee, you'd say 8 weeks. I think given the history and given that you can get with this sort of repeat injury, you can get early onset of arthritis, which would be a tragedy for a guy who's got a massive contribution to make to Stormers and South African rugby. So I would suspect it's going to be a couple of weeks longer. I think it should be a couple of weeks longer than that. From our side, we'd take the gas, the pedal off, the foot off the gas, or the pedal. Gosh, I got it wrong. But you know what I mean, just to make sure we get it right, because of his contribution. So I suspect it's probably 8 to 12 weeks. So what is the last part of the question, can you?
And I'm saying, like, how concerned, now that you've actually mentioned that it's a regular injury, like how worried are you that at that age there is a concern of a recurring injury?
Yeah. just the nature, I say, the repeat of the nature of the injury and the exact same knee is a concern. So I think we're just going to be really cautious with the management, because, as I say, last thing you want is to, for him to get some sort of arthritis or some sort of career-threatening thing there. So I think we're going to have to be very conservative, to get the long term out of him. So it is a concern.
And just talk me through just the happiness of having Damian back. I mean, through the Bok press conference, we've been told that it's 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But how happy are you to just have him back? Through his pictures, the man has been looking very happy to be back at training.
Yeah, he's the best dressed trainer, best dressed guy on the field. But he's got a spark. He's Gaza. He's absolutely back to his spring professional energy, contributing as part of our leadership group. So it's a huge boost for us. We're disappointed not to have Warwick available this week. We could have probably pushed him onto the bench. But with Damian there, we thought it was okay. So no, it's a huge boost for us. I say he's one of the ultimate stormers, and so we're very chuffed.
And what's Warwick's injury?
Warwick is a calf. He's a racehorse, Warwick, but he should be back for next. Yeah, he will be back for next week. He had a calf strain in sort of couple of weeks, 3 weeks into preseason, so he couldn't play in the friendlies. And we felt this week this was, but yeah. And also looking at the nature of the game, can you see that it's? I'm not sure this is, it's going to be like Ashfaq suggested, maybe a tough environment. Not normally Warwick's. For a guy who hasn't played since last season, since Glasgow, it would have been I'd rather give him another week's training than play.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kanisa. Are we going to finish with Nathan like we started? Yes, Nathan.
Dobbo, just on to another Ben Jason back on the bench, coming back from the international duty.
Yeah, it's very, very pleasant surprise. Luckily, we only named the starting team on Monday. So, ideally, we'd name the whole 23. So I didn't have to leave somebody out, which I don't think we could have done. So we hadn't announced the bench. So, to have a guy like Dave Hughes with his experience, and then Ben Jason coming, if all going well in terms of injuries, and the other two loose forward positions. I mean, BJ coming on with 35, with his work rate and his energy, ability to cover ground and physicality, and given what the experience he's had, it's a huge boost for us. He's a great presence. And what I love, it's not credit, say to BJ, listen, do you want to join us next week for Zebre? You just flown back from Argentina. And he's flying on, he climbs on a plane by himself. We said, no, I don't want to miss the Ospreys game. I'll fly Wednesday night. So literally came back on the Monday whenever they got back, and Tuesday or Wednesday night he was on a plane by himself, flying out to join us. So it's just who BJ is. A massive boost for us, huge boost.
Then finally, Dobby, if I may, a welcome return for JD as well. Obviously he was away for a bit, now he's back. I mean, how has it been in the preseason, and then obviously just the joy of having him in the setup and for the first game?
Yeah, I mean, Jeepers got we're blessed at lock now. JD, Ruben, Adre, and then Salman not here. Gary Porter back in Cape Town. Connor Evans injured. BJ can play there. Look, JD, we identified 2 years ago as somebody who would desperately get back as part of this project because other than his sheer size and his ability to cover ground, even playing, he could even cover 7 for us tomorrow. He's a real glue character. He understands this region and the culture and what the project's about and the backgrounds of all the different players. And, he's a special guy in the group, a really special human being. Calm, he's not a guy who just sticks to his clique. Especially now Ernst's gone to sell, the brandy sales with the Clapman's Hotel have dwindled. But he's a really good team guy. He's a stormer through and through. So he's a big presence for us. And I reckon I'll give you a prediction now. He's going to be one of the outstanding locks in the URC by the end of this season.
Sorry, just one last one. You spoke about projects. There has been a rumor of Sanel Nohamba apparently coming into the Stormers. I mean, is there any how true is that rumor of Sanele coming to the Stormers?
Yeah, listen, I've had no conversations, not one, not been part of one. So they have to go in the rumor basket. There's been lots of rumors about Paul de Vet as well, and you know, I haven't been party to a Paul de Beek conversation either. You know, if a guy like Sanele came up and a guy like Paul did leave, I think we'd be open to that. But the way it's feeling in my bones now is that Paul's not going anywhere, and so that will probably, you know, we wouldn't go, because we've got two great S720 scrum halves in Imad Khan and Asad Moose. So to us to bring somebody else, you know, the only way a guy like Sanele would come in is if one of our top two, like Herschel or Paul or one of the established guys left. If we didn't think one of the youngsters were ready, and I don't think I think that vacancy is going to come up for a while. All being well.
Cool, thank you.
Cool,
Okay,
guys.
cool.
So we're done.
Thanks, gents.
Thanks, Mike.